genre, music like country, jazz, pop, or rock. How about classical music? On January 2014, Nestle, the music industry leading data information provider, came out with the 2013 U.S. Music Report, stating that just 2.8% of albums sold in 2013 were categorized as classical, by comparison of rock with 34.8%, R&B with 18%, and soundtrack at 4%. I'm currently a student at Western Illinois University studying music education. I have had a lot of experience playing and studying classical music. We must first define the term classical music is. Broadly defined, classical music is the traditional music of any culture, usually required long years of training, and it is high art of learned, timeless music that is enjoyed generation after generation. According to Craig Wright, the author of the book, Listening to Music, 7th edition, published in 2014. In the world where pop, rock, rap, and country dominate the musical genres, it is effective to be educated on the importance of classical music and how it is effective of our history and of our culture. Classical music did not start with Mozart, as some people might think. It started long before us and his colleagues. Classical music was the start of all genres of music. We must say that we must be aware it started first, though. Music started back in the villages of different cultures around the world. They started with singing, the first movement, first instrument. Then they used logs and animal skins to provide developed drums and musical instruments. Music was primarily used to communicate and to glorify God. Through singing of masses in monasteries and convents in the medieval ages. But the ranging from 476 to 1450, the music used in the masses are called Gregorian chants, usually sang in Latin using the Bible as the text. The first musical notion stated to develop during the Middle Ages, which then evolved to what we see today. So this is what you would see back in the Middle Ages, and this is what you would see today, as you can recognize. The chants were sung in unison by one person who did not have much of a beat. In the Renaissance era, 1415 to 1600s, they started to write for different voices and had them enter music at different times. The chants and choral music was a cappella. Music started to come out of the churches onto street festivals known as madrigals. It was more popular music because they were songs about love and not religious meaning. The music was sometimes danced to because of the quicker tempo and instruments they added to. The Baroque era, from 1600 to 1750, added the lute, harpsichord, harp, and the ancestor of the violin and string instruments. It was the time period of Bach and Handel were alive in writing music. The genre of opera, formed in Italy around 1600, was the first opera d'orfeo, which was Monteverdi's Orfeo, which is formed in the modern operas. Then came the genre of chamber music, formed in the home for a private audience with smaller instruments like strings and instruments, smaller groups of instruments. The orchestra started to form, but not the one we see today. They started with strings, woodwinds, trumpets, and symphony. The classical period, 1715 to 1820, was started with the invention of the piano, which replaced the harpsichord. What helped mostly women, and to help develop musical understanding. Before the classical period, concerts were only for the wealthy or for the famous, or if you had an invitation to attend one, to the concert settlements. In the classical periods, concerts were performed more publicly and started to play outside for the middle and lower class people to enjoy music too. The tunes and melodies became easier to remember and to sing back. It is where a lot of our famous tunes come from, like, for example, Beethoven's Fifth and Ninth Symphony, Mozart's Eine Klockner, and advancements of the symphony orchestra with the viola, piccolo, bassoon, double bassoon, timpani, and the French horn. The new genre was string quartet, Chad violin, viola, cello, and another violin, sometimes the harpsichord. The Romantic was from 1820 to 1900. The Romantic era was about expanding the musical boundaries, to see how loud, how softly we could play, to how fast or slow we could play, and to see how many instruments we could have playing at one time, or more. The Romantic era was also using feelings and emotion to express and compose the music. Various instruments were added, the bass clarinet, contrabassoon, tuba, and a huge amount of percussion instruments were added. And they even doubled or tripled the size of the orchestra, like in Mahler's Symphony No. 8, it was known as Symphony for 1,000, and had about 800 people in the choir and about 200 people in the orchestra. So from having people of about 50 people in the classical to about 200 plus 800 choir. The conductor, the Romantic era, is the first time that the conductor was used waving his hands and controlling the sound. Just before that broken classical time period, he would actually play the piano and be part of the ensemble. A lot of the ballet music known today, popular, known as Swan Lake, the Nutcracker and Sleeping Beauty by Tchaikovsky are the most popular in ballet repertoire. The other the famous operas that we know today or are used as storylines in movies are Bizet's Carmen and Puccini's Labo, and used for today's movies and stories. And finally, the modern and postmodern era from 1880 till now started to alter the traditional classical music, radically transform the elements in the genre of opera, ballet, and symphonies. The shocking and disturbing sounds of Stravinsky's The Rite of Spring, due to the heavy pulse and accents and the uncomfortable sounding chords. After World War II, music turned to jazz as more of the popular music. Jazz originated with African American slavery folk tunes and religious songs, and which formed into jazz music. And some composers put jazz onto the classical stage, as Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, and put it on Broadway. After World War II, the electric guitar started to come in, and in the 1950s, rock and roll started to become more popular than jazz with Elvis's swing hits. The Beatles' rock and roll was also very famous from the group that was from the Britons from the 1950s up to the 80s. And in 1970, there's a movie that came out that had disco music, which really was a fad back then, which then altered into pop music in the 80s and such, then hip hop in the 90s and rap in the 90s, so on and so on. And the cool thing is that we still have all of these genres today, and new ones are coming out, like screamo, electronic, heavy metal. As I mentioned before, classical music is positive for your health. University of California, which did research on September 9th of 2000. It can help relieve pain after surgery, according to the Department of Nursing Research and Invocation. The Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Ohio on 2006 included a team of Britain. The team from Britain was able to reduce the amount of opiums given to a person recovering from stomach surgery with a steady dosage of classical music. It's very unique. It can also heighten your emotion. More expressive and forthcoming was what they concluded in Southern Methodist University in the spring of 2001. And finally, a Hunger team of researchers showed that listening to 45 minutes of classical music before going to bed helped students from 19 to 28 who had problems falling asleep. The researchers suggest turning on peaceful pieces such as classical music could be an effective way to battle insomnia. According to Peter M. Shufala, published the Journal of Behavioral Medicine, Volume 23, Issue 2, on April 2nd, 2000 at the Uniformed Services University of the Health Science of Maryland. As I said, classical music was the start of different genres of music that we know today. In the world where pop, rap, rock, and country dominate the musical genres, it's effective to be educated on the importance of classical music and how it affects our history of music and our health. Now we know the importance of classical music on our